After months of nothing but bad news, energy bills creeping up again, council tax letters landing on the doormat, and grocery prices that just won't seem to settle, I want to do something different today. Because starting this August, there are 3 pieces of genuinely good news for UK seniors. 3 separate amounts of money with your name on them landing this summer and autumn. One of them lands in your bank account automatically, and you don't have to lift a finger. One of them is a quiet increase on a payment you may already be getting, worth hundreds of pounds more this year. And the third could save you thousands of pounds on a cost that most pensioners just grit their teeth and pay every single year. And here's the part that bothers me. Most people are going to miss at least one of these, not because they don't qualify, but simply because nobody ever explained it to them in plain words. So that's what the next few minutes are for. 3 good things in plain English and exactly what you do or don't have to do to make sure each one reaches you. I'm here, viewer. I spent over 15 years working inside the UK's benefits, tax and pension system. And I'll tell you something I learned in there that has never left me. The system is very, very good at telling you when you owe money and almost silent when it owes you. Nobody whose job it is to send money out has any real reason to advertise it. So the good news arrives quietly in a letter most people skim or a rule change buried on a government page nobody reads, and it slips right past the people it was meant for. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not selling you anything. I'm just going to walk you through these 3 in order, the same way I'd lay it out for my own mum at her kitchen table. So get a pen, because I think at least one of these has your name on it, and there's a simple thread running through all 3 that I want you to catch by the end. Let's start with the first piece of good news, and it's the one you don't have to do a single thing to receive. Starting in August, the UK state pension goes up. Now here's something most pensioners don't realise about the state pension. It doesn't just change once a year, it's reviewed every single year using something called the triple lock. That means it rises by whichever is highest out of 3 things: inflation, average earnings growth, or 2.5%. That's the law. So when prices rise, your state pension is supposed to rise with them automatically. And for this coming tax year, starting in August, it's going up again. This brings the full new state pension for someone who reached state pension age after April 2016 up to about £221.20 a week. That works out to roughly £884.80 a month, or over £11,500 a year. For those on the older basic state pension, it rises to about £169.50 a week, which is nearly £678 a month. Now, I know these numbers don't sound like winning the lottery, but stay with me because there are 2 things about this you need to understand. The first is that this is stacked on top of every previous increase. Over the past few years, the state pension has climbed significantly by over £1,000 a year for many people, and these annual bumps compound on each other year after year for the rest of your life. And the second, more important point, this is money that arrives whether or not you do anything. You don't apply, you don't call. If you're already receiving your state pension, the new higher amount simply shows up in your August payment. That's it. And there's a quieter bit of good news riding along with that same August adjustment. If you're on a lower income and receive pension credit, that payment is also recalculated around the same time. For a lot of people on a modest, steady income, that recalculation holds your pension credit steady or nudges it up more money quietly in the same period. So this first one is a gift, but it's the only one of the 3 that is, because the next 2, they are absolutely sitting there waiting for you, but only if you've done one quiet little thing first. Hold that thought, because here is the second piece of good news. If you've ever received the winter fuel payment, that annual tax-free payment that lands in your account to help with heating costs, then listen closely. Because starting this August and September, it is changing, and it's changing in your favour. Now here's the honest truth. The government has announced changes to the winter fuel payment that will mean some pensioners no longer receive it automatically. But here's the good news that most people are missing. If you're on a modest income, particularly if you receive pension credit, you will still get it, and in some cases you may actually get more support than before. But there's a catch, and it's the same catch that controls the third surprise too, so remember it. This money is not automatic anymore for everyone. You have to be in the system. Specifically, if you receive pension credit, you will automatically get the winter fuel payment. But if you don't claim pension credit, even if you're entitled to it, you won't get the winter fuel payment either. And here's the part that breaks my heart. Nearly 1 million pensioners who are entitled to pension credit don't claim it. That means they miss out on the winter fuel payment too. It's a double loss. So let me put real numbers on this. For the 2026 to 2027 winter, eligible households will receive £200 for households with someone aged under 80 and £300 for households with someone aged 80 or over. That's the winter fuel payment. But here's where it gets really good. If you're on a low income, you may also be eligible for the Warm Home Discount, a separate one-off payment of £150 that goes directly onto your electricity bill, usually between October and March. And you may also qualify for cold weather payments, £25 for each 7-day period of very cold weather between November and March. Add those up. A pensioner aged 80 or over on pension credit could receive £300 winter fuel payment, £150 warm home discount, and cold weather payments if the temperature drops. That's at least £450 of help with heating costs and potentially more for doing absolutely nothing different except one thing. And that one thing is, you guessed it, claiming what's already yours. Because here's the quiet little thread again. To get the winter fuel payment automatically, you need to be receiving pension credit. And to get pension credit, you need to have made a claim. No claim, no payment, no matter how much you qualify for. And that brings me to the third piece of good news. And for a lot of seniors, this is the big one, because it's the one that can save you the most money by far. I'm talking about dental care. For years, the cost of the dentist is the thing I've heard pensioners quietly dread the most. The cleaning they skip, the denture they put off, the tooth they just live with because the bill is frightening. Well, here's what changed, and most people still don't know it. If you're on a low income, you can get free NHS dental treatment in the UK, and the rules are simpler than you'd think. If you or your partner receive any of the following benefits, you're entitled to help with NHS dental costs: pension credit, guarantee credit, income support, income-based job seekers allowance, income-related employment and support allowance, or universal credit in certain circumstances. And here's the best part. If you're on a low income but not on these benefits, you can still apply for the NHS Low Income Scheme. This scheme gives you a certificate called an HC2 or HC3 certificate, which entitles you to full or partial help with NHS dental treatment, NHS eye tests, prescription charges, travel costs for NHS treatment, and more. Let me be specific about what NHS dental treatment actually covers, because people often don't realise how much is included. We're talking about examinations and checkups, scale and polish, which means cleanings, fillings, root canal treatment, extractions when a tooth has to come out, and dentures, both full and partial. Think about a full set of NHS dentures, which on your own can cost anywhere from £300 to over £1,000, depending on the complexity. With an HC2 certificate, that cost is covered in full. That is the difference between living with a problem for years and getting it fixed this year. Now, one honest note so you're not caught off guard. NHS dental charges are banded. Under the NHS in England, the bands are Band 1 at £26.80, which includes examination, diagnosis, and advice. Band 2 at £73.50, which includes everything in Band 1 plus fillings, root canals or extractions. And Band 3 at £319.10, which includes everything in Bands 1 and 2 plus dentures and bridges. You're eligible for free treatment, you pay nothing. If you're on the low-income scheme with an HC2 certificate, you pay nothing for any NHS dental treatment. With an HC3 certificate, you get partial help, meaning you won't pay more than a set amount. So how do you actually get it? You apply through the NHS low-income scheme. You can do it online at gov.uk/help-NHS costs, or by requesting a paper form called HC1. The application is open right now. There's no waiting window, it's always open. And here's that thread again, the one I told you to hold on to. To apply and be approved, you need to have your finances in order. And crucially, if you're on pension credit, you automatically qualify for free NHS dental treatment. But if you're not claiming pension credit, even if you're entitled to it, you're paying for dental care you could be getting for free. There it is. A third time. So do you see the quiet little thread running through all of this? 2 of your 3 pieces of good news, the bigger winter fuel payment and the free dental coverage, both depend on one single action, claiming pension credit. That one claim is the master key. It is the thing that quietly switches on more money in your account and a covered trip to the dentist all at once. And every single year, people who absolutely qualify for both miss out on both. Not because they earned too much, not because they were turned down, but simply because they didn't claim, often because their income was low enough that they figured there was no point, or they thought the process was too complicated. If that's you or someone you love, please hear this. With these benefits, claiming isn't about what you owe. It's the doorway the money comes through. No claim and the door stays shut. And let me clear up a common myth. Pension credit is not just for people with zero income. The guarantee credit part of pension credit tops up your weekly income to £227.10 if you're single, and £346.60 if you're a couple. That means if your income is below those amounts, you could be entitled to pension credit. And even if your income is slightly higher, you may still qualify for the savings credit part if you reached state pension age before April 2016. But here's the part most people don't realize. Pension credit is a gateway benefit. If you claim it, you automatically unlock winter fuel payment worth up to £300, help with NHS costs including free dental, free eye tests, and free prescriptions, warm home discount worth £150 off your electricity bill, cold weather payments of £25 per cold week, council tax reduction of up to 100% off your council tax, and a free TV license if you're aged 75 or over and on pension credit. That's not hundreds of pounds. That's potentially thousands of pounds a year, all unlocked by one single claim. Now, before I give you your simple checklist, let me add one quick bonus of 4th place to look, because it's the same kind of quiet money. Beyond these national programs, every local council in the UK has its own schemes for pensioners that go badly underclaimed, council tax reduction in particular. If you're on a low income, you could get up to 100% off your council tax bill. That's hundreds, sometimes over £1,000 a year. In Scotland, there's the pension age winter heating payment, a new annual payment of £50 or £100 depending on your circumstances. In Wales, there's the Welsh Government Fuel Support Scheme worth up to £200 to help with energy bills. In Northern Ireland, there's the winter fuel payment plus the oil heating payment scheme for those not on the gas grid. The specifics change at every council border, and that's exactly why this money goes unclaimed. There's no single national letter that tells you about your council's version, so I can't cover every council in one video, but I want you to do one simple thing. Search your local council's website plus the words council tax reduction or pensioner support, or call your council's benefits line, because there's a very good chance there are a few hundred more pounds sitting there with your name on it that nobody ever mailed you a reminder about. Now, before I give you the playbook and your checklist, I want to stop on one uncomfortable question, because you deserve an honest answer to it. If all of this is good news, money the government set aside for pensioners on purpose, then why on earth are you hearing it from a fellow on the internet instead of in a clear letter to your mailbox? And the answer is the thing I learned in 15 years inside these systems. It is nobody's single job to chase you down and make sure you take what's yours. A change gets announced once in a budget, in language only an accountant could love, and then everyone moves on. Your dentist isn't going to tell you that you could get treatment for free. That's not his job. The council won't flag that your council tax could be reduced. Each piece sits in its own separate department behind its own separate form. And the one quiet thing they all count on is that you're busy or tired or simply never heard. It isn't a conspiracy. It's just indifference spread across a dozen offices that don't talk to one another. And the result is always the same. And it's the part that bothers me most. The pensioners who need this money the most are the very ones most likely to miss it, because they're not online reading the fine print, and nobody in their life ever sat them down and said, in plain words, here is what's yours and here is how to take it. So consider this video me sitting you down. That's the whole reason I make these. Not to frighten you, there's already too much of that, but to hand you the things that were yours all along. So everything I've just walked you through, these three, the council credits, the exact income numbers, who to call, and the dozens of other payments and dates that affect a UK senior's money across the whole year, I've put all of it into one plain English guide. I call it the UK Seniors Money Playbook. It's the same thing I'd sit and walk a family member through at my own kitchen table, organised so you can go down it line by line and never miss a pound that's owed to you again. I'm not going to read you a sales pitch. If these few minutes have already pointed you toward money you'd have missed, the link is in the description, and it's there whenever you want the whole year laid out in one place. Now let's lock in your checklist, because this is the part that actually puts the money in your account. Here is exactly what to do this week. Write these down. If you're already receiving your state pension, you don't need to do anything for the increase, but do open your August payment and confirm the new higher amount actually landed, because it's worth knowing what your number should be. If you have not yet checked whether you're entitled to pension credit, that is the single most important thing on this list. Check it, even if your income is low, even if you think you won't qualify. The quickest way is to use the pension credit calculator on the gov.uk website, or simply call the pension credit claim line at 08009911234. They will tell you over the phone whether you qualify. It takes about 10 minutes. And remember, one claim unlocks everything else. Go and apply for help with NHS costs through the NHS Low Income Scheme. You can do it online at gov.uk/help-NHS costs, or request an HC1 form from your local Job Centre Plus or NHS hospital. The window is open now, and it's always open. Once you're approved, book the cleaning or the work you've been putting off. Search your local council's website for council tax reduction and any local pensioner support schemes. Claim what's yours. If you're on pension credit, you'll likely qualify for a significant reduction. That's it. 4 simple moves, and 3 of them put money straight back where it belongs with you. Because that's really the heart of all this. None of this is charity, and none of it is luck. Every one of these is money that was set aside for seniors exactly like you. You just had to know it existed and reach out and take it. The state pension increase is automatic. The winter fuel payment and the free dental care are one pension credit claim away, And the council reductions are one phone call away. The only thing standing between you and all of it is knowing. And now you know, if this helped you, or if it pointed you toward even £1 you were about to miss, do me a favor and send it to one other senior you care about, a friend, a neighbor, your brother or sister, because I promise you, somebody you know is leaving one of these three on the table right now and has no idea. And subscribe, because plain English good news for UK seniors, the kind nobody else bothers to explain, is exactly what I do here. Go and claim what's yours.